Joni Mitchell, welcome to The Late Show.
Thank you.
Can I start by asking you about the song we just heard, Sunny Sunday, a kind of everyday tale of ordinary madness in California, it sounds like. Are you the lady with the gun, or do you ever feel like her?
No, it's not autobiographical. It's actually, it's kind of a composite portrait, but I have a friend who I paint with, who had a roommate who did this, who shot with quite regularity at the streetlight outside their house and always missed. And it's just the story of a woman waiting for some little change to give her new direction. If she hits a stupid streetlight, then she'll leave, whatever the situation she's in. It's a kind of a mysterious little song. It's also the shortest song I ever wrote.
The last few albums have seen your focus turn outwards on the world, rather than perhaps the more introspective songs that used to form the backbone of what you did.
People say that, but I think that my work has always been realistic. I think I've worked with the times at hand. The times, it is not me that has gotten pessimistic. It's the times that have gotten more difficult. You know, I'm just a witness. There's nothing colored that isn't happening with great regularity, especially in Los Angeles, which is kind of the center of change, at least for America. A lot of things spread out from Los Angeles. Right now, it's a terrifically difficult city to live in, a dangerous city to live in. So
you talk about Los Angeles as a place that is falling apart, but of course when you started singing, California was the cradle of something beautiful that was happening, the whole kind of flower power generation thing. And that's a generation of which you're seen as very much the embodiment by some people. Do you think they find it hard to accept you as a slightly more harsh observer of the contemporary scene?
I think people would like me to just be introverted and bleed for them forever. You know, they would be most happy if I would do that. You know, but you have to grow. The climate when I wrote, you know, my early work in California was so very different. People were courteous drivers. We didn't lock our doors at night. If you signaled to turn left, you know, people said, "Oh, please be my guest." You know, now it's a very mean driving town. If you signal, people feel that you're trying to get ahead of them, and nobody's going to get ahead of anyone in LA. So there's this vicious traffic that you have to go through to go from point A to point B. The song Sex Kills deals with it. You can feel it out in traffic. Everyone hates everyone. Everybody's always flipping you the bird. It wasn't this way in the 60s. So society has changed all around me. People's nervous systems are shot. We're overpopulated.
So do you find yourself removing yourself from
You
living
can't
there?
remove yourself. It's totally random. I've had follow homes. I've had, you know, it's everywhere. So it isn't. Of course I'm changing. You know, my environment is changing. Of course I'm a critic of it. You know.
You've always resisted being seen as primarily a woman artist or a spokeswoman for your sex.
Yeah.
Are you still very kind of careful about distancing yourself from that kind of role?
No, I don't think I ever was careful about it. I just don't think I wrote for women. I wrote for relationships. I wrote to both men and women, you know, in terms of their relationship. I was never a feminist because it was too apartheid. I mean, any feminists that I ever met were man-haters. The bulk of the camp that I met were man-haters. They saw it all as them and us, where I was constantly in the company of men, you know, usually large entourages of men. I was much more comfortable in a company of men because I was used to it than in the company of women who seemed kind of foreign to me, up until recently, actually.
At risk of sounding like a dour feminist, do you think you would have had an easier career if you'd been a man?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. A gypsy, a Sikh, came up to me in a booth in New York one day and insisted on telling me my past lives. He said they were sticking out all over me and he had to tell me. I said, I don't want to know. You know, I said, you're going to tell me I'm Cleopatra or something, you know, like in another life, because everybody was Cleopatra. No, he said, it's your first incarnation as a woman. He said, in my last life I was a bird. In the life before that I was an English gent of all things. And in the life before that, and he said this with considerable distaste, I was an Arab rug merchant. And that's the one I thought, that's true, you know, because I have this affinity for textiles, and I could sit all day with a samovar of coffee, just, you know, like wheeling and dealing and feeling fabric.
As a woman artist entering I suppose you have a 30-year career behind you. In a way, you're entering uncharted waters. There aren't that many people who've done it before you. Does that make
Lena
you...
Horne, there's a few women, you know, jazz singers mostly. Pop singers, no. Pop is young, you know. So we will see if they're, you know, if the pop, quote unquote, world will allow me to survive.
Is it a challenge that you feel excited by?
No, I don't care. You know, if I don't sell enough records, which is possible that I won't, basically because of this prejudice against middle-aged women, and also like a base, for the last 15 or 20 years, depending on what country you're talking about, I've been out of favor, which is just typical of pop. No matter what I do, no matter how good my work is, it's, you know, it's not good enough. So there's a possibility that I will not sell enough records to have a contract, you know, in which case I'll paint. I've always wanted out of this business.
Well, we're not going to let you out of this business just yet because we're going to ask you to sing one more song for us. Now, this is going to be Sex Kills, which is the cornerstone of the new album, the cornerstone song. Can you tell me something about it?
It was written at the time of the Los Angeles riots. I pulled up behind a car which had the license plate Just Ice, which was very provocative to me. Just ice, justice. I hadn't thought about the word quite that way. And I asked a lot of people what justice was. Nobody seemed to know. And this is a song about America, and in particular Los Angeles at this particular time.
Thanks very much. Let's hear it, Joni Mitchell. Thank you.